I am so glad you are here. It is alive on Wednesday. This is March 25th, 2026. And what are we wearing? What are we drinking? These are the first questions I always ask. Well, look, I have this fabulous jewelry on. Look at this. I have this wonderful abalone ring. I have this beautiful faceted amethyst. That's my recommitment ceremony ring, and my engagement and wedding ring. But this thulite teardrop is fabulous. And then I've got a rough citrine here for all the hope and joy in the world. We love this jewelry. And what am I drinking? These are all for sale, by the way. Oh, yeah, I forgot. And today I included a beautiful scarf, one of Jerry's fabulous scarves. Love that line. And what are we drinking? Gosh, I've got lemon balm and ashwagandha in here. I have astragalus and burdock. And I'm sure I'm missing something, but it's actually delicious today, I gotta say. Highly recommend. And what is happening? What is going on? What are you coming down here for besides the cool stuff? Well, this Saturday, the 28th, Alliance Coven will be doing its Dedicants class from noon to 2. If you want to just meet these folks and see if maybe you want to go to their first series of classes when they come up again, show up around 2 o'clock. You can shake some hands, maybe have a conversation. Great group of people, fantastic teachers. All three of the instructors are really wonderful. And they also do a great job with Paganicon, along with the rest of the board and volunteers and all of those other folks. Later on Saturday the 28th, Magical Astrology, our astrologer Adam's best series yet. So popular, so fun. And just his ability to weave together all kinds of traditions and focuses on astrology into a working methodology is fantastic. The next day, on Sunday the 29th, we've got this cool drum. It's an invented drum by Thomas. He's a local drum maker. It combines three types of drums into the concepts behind them into one style of drum, a new style of drum. And he's going to be demoing that with a little performance here on Sunday the 29th. So stop in for that. That'll be fun. Of course, herbs year 1 and year 3 are ongoing on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. If you want to start your herb journey, I've been told by my students, you have to start at the beginning. They've yelled at me. It's a lot of information and it's complicated. So get ready to start that journey this fall on Wednesday evenings. If you've got it free, you can sign up anytime. Saturday the 4th, Alliance Coven will be back at noon again. And at 3, we'll have Eshu's class, American Hoodoo and Folk Magic. Really good series. He was raised up in the stuff in and around New Orleans. Highly recommend the class. Sunday the 5th, we'll have the British Traditional Wicca intro group from 10 to 11 on a Sunday, which does mean, I believe that's when it is, which does mean we're not open. So come on in if you want for the class, but we'll be in the classroom. You might have to call the shop or knock really loud to get us if you're late. And at noon on Sunday the 5th, Gateway to the Gods. This is your opportunity for a little entheogenically enhanced meditation. So this is a class where we take an entheogenic herb. There are samples of it available in what I would call beginner or baby little amounts. We talk about the safety. You get to try it if it suits you, if you're the kind of person who can take it. Then we talk about some of the folklore and history of the herb and how it's been used. We take a little break, and then we do the guided meditation so you can push that experience as far as possible to help you figure out if this is the entheogen that actually works with your body chemistry, your psyche, and will help you. We've had some fantastic results in that class. People who come in and say, I can't meditate, and leave going, I can meditate. It's absolutely wonderful. And I will remind you about our fabulous readers. If you want to come in for a reading, today, Wednesday, Eshu will be here. He does tarot and palmistry. All the readings are $2.50 a minute plus tax. Of course, we'll ask if you want to leave your reader a tip at the register, but it is never required, always appreciated. Eshu will be in again on Thursday from noon to 3, and then Ravenwolf will be in from 3 to 6, another amazingly good tarot reader. He's in again on Friday from 1 to 4. And then Daryl, our oracle card reader, is in from 4 to 6. Saturday, it's Eshu and Margaret splitting the day, with Eshu from noon to 3 and Margaret from 3 to 6. Sunday, Eshu all day. Monday, Daryl for a couple of hours when we open, and then Morpheus doing dream interpretation for the last 4 hours of the day from 2 to 6. He's really good. So if you're puzzling over a dream, I'd recommend him. And then finally on Tuesday, we have Ravenwolf again doing readings, and Daryl with his oracle readings for the latter part of the afternoon. So that's our fabulous readers. You need a reader for a party, reach out, let us know. We will put you in touch with a reader that might be a good one for you and your event. And then usually I would now talk about stuff. And I have stuff just in case we have time, but I want to talk about a little controversy I got into this weekend at the amazing and fabulous event known as Paganicon. It's a big pagan conference here. It's a hotel-based conference here in the Twin Cities in Minnesota. And it is my tradition when I am ending these events and we're in the last expected lull of the day, on the very last day, for me to go around and offer to the other vendors a sample pack of an incense that we sell at our shop that sends us giveaways. They send us every week. They send us incense packs to give away. And what we do here in the shop is we burn them. And when we get that pack down to one stick, it becomes eligible as a giveaway for our customers when we remember, because I've watched and none of us remember to do it every time, even if we have the incense available. And the same was true at this event. I would give packs away, full packs away to our customers in our booth. But at the end of the event, I try to just give the vendors a treat. I mean, the stuff is free to me, so I have no reason not to share the joy. And the vendor who was vending incense got a little upset with me for that. Seemed to misread the situation a little bit, got very angry. And my heart goes out to her because you can't get that mad unless maybe something else is going on. And you'll notice I'm not saying who this is. I'm not naming the company. And if you know what I'm talking about, I'm asking you, please grant this woman some grace and do not share that information in these comments. Please do not. Because this isn't about being down on her. It really is about hoping that we can uplift us all. And I just wanted to share my experience with it. I can imagine the board is going to have a little bit of a debate and a conversation about it. The folks who run the event, and I'm so sorry that they're facing that extra task. I feel guilty for my part in that, but hopefully she will get to a place where she is better, and we can all find a way to make peace and get along in the long run. But that only took 2 minutes. I have time to show you some cute books. Let me show you just a few. So I have the kids' books that one of our publishers sent us. C is for Coven. It is the ABC book that you think it is. Magic Child, which we've carried here before. It's a great little bedtime ritual for small kids. Highly recommend. And then there are these other picture books for slightly older kids, early grade school-ish. The Fairy Apothecary, the Tarot Deck Mess, which is a great intro to the major arcana of the tarot. A couple of seasonal books. This is probably their most popular, Sam and the Samhain Scare, which I would say Sam and the Samhain Scare, but I want it to go right for the title. And Flora and the First Day of Spring. That's your little spring equinox one. There is also Casita Brujita. This one we nearly sold out of. This was really popular, and it is a fun book. And then What Witches Wear, to get us to look at how we perceive other people, the roles we assign them based on how they appear to us, and how to give people the grace to express themselves with what they wear without us necessarily making an assumption about who they are. Which is fascinating. But I have one more book to show you, folks. Because look who's here. Wait, my screen is backwards. Look, there he is. Or, oh yes, on both of on your phone and on your computer right now, he's that way. Yay. The author of this fabulous book, Wisdom from the Woods. This is Mark Langenfeld. I have read some of the essays in this book. I have to tell you folks out there, love this book. And hi to people who are commenting, by the way. Great little set of essays, just for clarity, a breath of fresh air, the ability to look at yourself, do a little introspection, and find the time and space to help yourself grow. I don't know what your goals were, Mark, but tell me a little bit about how you came to writing this little set of essays. I love these.
Well, thank you for having me on this show. I really appreciate it. The book came about because for my entire life, I've been hiking in the woods and collecting nature metaphors. And I've been noticing things, for example, all the trees, well, they look like they're separate, but if you look on a higher plane, even a higher spiritual plane, the branches are interconnected. And so probably over the last 10 years, I started writing these down. And as I wrote each metaphor down, that I believe was channeled through me from Mother Nature, I started noticing, oh, well, each little metaphor is roughly about 1,000 words. Okay, that's interesting. And then after 10 years, I had about 52, and I thought, 52 weeks in the year. That's one little article for each week of the year, like a devotional. So then I put them together into chapters. And there's nature metaphors from the water to the clouds to the animals to the land to the trees, you name it. And I thought, this is my goal, to bring about more light, compassion, more positive energy, more kindness in the world. We all know that there's just too much hatred and negative energy in the world. And I thought, okay, well, you know what? Why am I holding all this knowledge from Mother Nature for myself? I openly say this is not my wisdom. Wisdom from the woods is from Mother Nature. It's nature's wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just passing it on because I don't want to go to the grave taking all this wisdom with me. What good would that do? I want to pass it on to people. So that was my goal, and it still is. And I do want to mention, as part of my goal, 100% of my royalties are being donated to the Student Nutrition Assistance Program at Northwood Technical College, where I teach psychology and sociology. So I'm not making a dime off this book. It's all being donated. All my royalties are being donated to feed the hungry students.
I'm so glad to hear that because that has been a growing problem over the last several years. I've noticed there's more activism around it and just more need as college and living expenses continue to rise.
Yes. Yeah, grocery prices keep going up. And for those of you who went to college, you remember what it was like, difficulties with getting ends meet and with expenses. When I was going to college, I come from an impoverished family of origin, so my parents couldn't afford to help me with tuition or rent or even food. And I remember evenings where I would come home after college and all I had for supper was a bowl of cereal. And so when I see my students hungry and struggling, I think to myself, you know what? My heart goes out to them. So that's when I decided I'm just going to donate all my royalties, 100%, to the Student Nutrition Assistance Program.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is so amazing. Yeah, I keep looking at that and what a struggle it was for me in college. And to know it's just so much harder today, so much worse today.
And some of the
It's,
students have kids to support.
yep, yep. I know I could not go full time my entire time in college. It took me longer than expected to graduate because of that.
Yeah.
And that means a delay and when students have to do that, there's been a delay in starting the career, making the money that might repay the student loans. And yeah, I left with student loans then. Oof, I can't
Yeah.
imagine what it's like now. So this is fantastic. But wisdom of the woods, you've got this organized so that you can do an essay a week. But one of the things I noticed is you don't have to do them in order.
Right.
They're discrete essays. They're whole things unto themselves. So you can flip and go random if you want to. Or, and you were telling me this a little before we started, there is a way that every essay has been organized by subject. So if you want to focus on something as the person reading the book, you can. So if you really, really, really want to get into breath work, well, there's a list of 5 essays here about breathing. Or if you are trying to let go of anger, there's 3 essays, I'm just literally flipping through, about anger. And all of the emotions are in their own little section in this index,
Yeah.
emotion by emotion. Metaphors for various types of animals and elements and plants are in here. So you can really dive in and think about the world around you in a way that maybe we don't always take the time to do. So how often do you hike in the woods for this inspiration? Is this a daily habit for you?
Well, I'm not going to say daily for the woods, but it is daily for interconnectedness with Mother Nature. On days that are rainy or it's storming, I don't mind going out when it's snowing, but if it's a snowstorm and it's dangerous, I'll simply look out the window. And for those of you who are homebound and maybe you're not able to get outside, you can still look out the window and you can see the moon goddess hanging in the night sky. You can see the sunshine from the sun god shining on us. You can see the birds or the trees. Or if it's summer, you can see the lawn. If it's winter, you can see the snow. You can still look outside and be connected with Mother Nature, even if you're not actually able to go out and go hiking.
Yes. Yeah. I have found it possible over the years, just looking out a window, to become completely engrossed in a single blade of grass for, okay, I'm a meditator, I admit it, but for an extended period of time, sometimes because somebody's lecturing at me.
Yeah. One of the nice things that I really like is at night, if it's a clear night and a full moon, I'll just open up the drapes and I'll just bask in the moonlight. And I'll let the moon goddess just shine on me. And it certainly affects my dreams. And I write about that in the book. I talk about Grandmother Moon and how her moonbeams are like silver hair. And if you have difficulty sleeping, just remember that Grandmother Moon is watching over you and protecting you while you sleep. It helps me fall asleep. Maybe it will you too.
Absolutely. I think it's a great set of symbols. It actually reminds me of someone who dedicated himself to the goddess on some full moon night. This person was very elderly by the time I met them, so this was probably in the 1960s that he did this. Literally just went outside into his backyard at 3 a.m. and just, that was it for him. He was sold. He was convinced this was going to be what he did for the rest of his life, and it was.
Beautiful.
It was just part of his zeitgeist. So do you have any particularly favorite essays in this little beauty?
Well, the favorite one I put as the first chapter. It's entitled, "Who Pooped on My Path to Enlightenment?" And it's literally about times that I had a particular place in the woods where I would sit and meditate and try to reach a state of enlightenment. And one summer day, I go there and some black bear had defecated right in the very spot where I sit to meditate. And I could tell it was from a black bear because it had the raspberry seeds in the pile of ick. And so I thought, well, okay, what is the universe trying to teach me here? And also, how ironic, because the black bear is one of my spirit animals. So what's going on here? Is this some cosmic joke? Well, it took me practically a year before I got the message. The next year, when I went back there, those very same raspberry seeds that were in the bear's, let's call it compost, had decomposed, and those raspberry seeds took root, they sprouted, and now I had raspberry plants growing. And so the metaphor in that first chapter is about how some things may seem really negative and really problematic at first, but in the bigger picture, given enough time, we can ferret out lessons and wisdom from those experiences, so it turns out to be something beneficial, something positive in the long run. It's my favorite chapter.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I can also see the idea of the bear was trying to give you a gift in a way. And this was what it could do. This is what it had to
Yeah.
offer. And yeah, it was a long-term plan, not a short-term one, perhaps, under
I
those
have to
circumstances.
activate the lights again. I'm in a room
Oh,
that has lights that automatically shut off if I don't move enough. So
oh no.
pardon me for stretching.
No, you're good. You're quite good. So, how was the process? Just because I know we have budding writers here, how was the process for you of getting this book out, published, and into the marketplace, into the world?
A lot of it was just lining up with the energies and the whole aspect of being right with the universe. Somebody, and I forget who it was, but some famous person said, there's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come. And so it took me about 2 years of submitting this manuscript to various publishers before Llewellyn accepted it. And it was in their division of wellness and self-help, because Llewellyn has several different divisions for publications. And since my book falls into the category of wellness and self-help, that fit right in. But yeah, it was an idea whose time has come. And I think to myself, well, the world needs more kindness. The world needs more compassion. The book is full of guidance from Mother Nature. I emphasize it's not my wisdom, it's Mother Nature's wisdom. And it's put into stories and it's put into areas that people can relate to. It's very relatable. And Llewellyn has a wonderful arts department and graphics department. Every single chapter has little graphics and little images of nature. It's beautiful and it's fun. And do you notice that Llewellyn purposely made the book small so that it can fit into your jacket pocket? You can take it with you into the woods as a field guide. How wonderful.
Yeah. And yeah, the start of every essay, every chapter has got a little bit of, outside right there in it for you. So even if you can't be outside right now because you're sitting on a
Yeah.
plane or you're somewhere you can't see nature, you can still see nature at the start of every essay. I love that.
And each chapter is only about 3 pages, roughly about 1,000 words per chapter. So it's an easy read. You don't have to, read a novel to get through it. It's a very simple, what I would call weekly meditation devotional book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's an easy add-on to anything that somebody might be doing right now. If they want to get more in touch with nature, I think this would really give you a direction to work from, and a way of perhaps shifting your perspective if that story
And
contains info you've not thought of yet.
did you notice that at the end of every single chapter, there's a little subsection called Today's Teachings from Mother Nature? And that
Mm-hmm.
gives you step-by-step instructions, a little assignment. Come on, I'm a teacher. What do you expect from me? I
Yep.
give a little assignment to help a person put into practice what the
Yes.
chapter teaches. So it's not like one of those self-help books where they just make vague statements like, okay, feel better, get over it. This gives you step-by-step instructions at the end of each chapter, just a couple paragraphs to help you put into practice what you just read.
Yeah, I'm looking at chapter 34. A bear taught me about my instincts. And it's a nice little essay about your encounters with a bear, but it ends, because this is a shorter set of instructions. So I thought, to give people a good idea, it ends with today's teaching from Mother Nature saying, although it is unlikely that you will never face an angry mama bear, be mindful of your animal instincts and analytical reasoning. And then goes on to ask you to act mindfully, not mindlessly. Be thoughtful about what you do, and then be decisive about what you do. And don't wait for the angry bear to make the first move. Which I
That
love. So
was
it's
that was an
straightforward.
interesting and scary experience. I was jogging at night with my dog, Diana, named after the moon goddess, and I heard something scurry into the woods. Well, since I'm jogging down a country road, by the way, I have a flashlight, so I shine the flashlight into the woods. Well, if you've ever done that, you know that the flashlight only lights up the first trees in front of you, and then those trees cast shadows on all the trees behind. So it's a myriad of shadows, and I heard something scurrying up a tree, and I thought, okay, and I shined the light up in the tree. I saw some glowing eyes from a relatively small animal, and I thought that could be a raccoon. It's about the size of a raccoon. But you know what? It could be a bear cub. And then I shined the light on Diana, who was smart enough not to go in the woods with me. She was on the gravel road, and I noticed her fur was standing up, which only happens when there's a predator nearby, a wolf, a coyote, a bobcat, or a bear. And I thought, that's probably a bear cub. And then I heard the snapping sound, and I was like, is there a deer in the woods that's stepping on branches? What is that? So I had to learn to listen to my instincts, not my intellect, okay, not my cerebral cortex. And finally, I thought to myself, okay, I'm sensing, my spirit is sensing danger. I'm going to get out of here. So then the next day, I went and talked to the DNR, and they said that snapping sound was the sound of the bear snapping its jaws. It was the mama bear, known as a sow bear, and they will not back down when their cubs are being threatened. They'll snap their jaws as a warning just before they charge you. So it's a good lesson to listen to your instincts. My dog was wiser than I was. There I was exploring the woods with a flashlight because my intellect was so curious. What is that? Sometimes you just got to listen to your instincts. Good lesson.
Definitely. And just that idea of taking that moment to sense where you're at and adjusting. Life saving in your case that day, I'm sure. Well, are there any other books in the works for you, or was this?
There is.
Yeah.
I'm currently polishing. I've already written the rough draft. I'm currently polishing my next book, which I'm entitling Manifesting Nature's Kindness. Now, in this particular book, Wisdom from the Woods, it mentions in one of the first pages upcoming books, and I listed Beyond Kindness. No, it was Beyond Positive Thinking. So if you look at like the first or second page, it says upcoming book Beyond Positive Thinking. I've changed the title. I think a more
Okay.
appropriate title is Manifesting Nature's Kindness. And that one deals specifically with going beyond positive thinking and doing acts of kindness, moments of compassion. Because I hear so many people talking about, well, I know that we have wars going on, and I know that there's starvation. I know that there's all this hatred. Well, we just need to think positively. And I'm like, well, that's a good start. I'm not against positive thinking, but we can't stop at just thinking positively. I volunteer at the Damiano Center Soup Kitchen in Duluth, feeding the hungry. I don't just sit at home and think positively. I go out and do acts of compassion. So that's what that whole book is about. Manifesting nature's kindness. Nature shows us kindness, and now this is an instructional book helping people to put those positive thoughts into action. So I'm polishing up that book, and it may take me a year or so, but I already have the rough draft done.
That's fantastic. We will definitely look forward to that. It is something that I know we've emphasized here And it's that meme from that kids movie from decades ago. Where are the hands of the gods?
Yeah.
It is you. You will enact that beneficence or that hardship to the world around you. It's your choice.
The slogan I came up with was turn compassion into action.
Yeah, it's one thing to feel bad. It's another to fix it
Yeah.
and participate in remedying the situation that you see. So I applaud you for that. That's wonderful. So that's exciting that that one's coming out. And you say you are teaching at one of the colleges near Duluth?
Correct.
Okay.
It's Northwood Technical College in Superior, Wisconsin. They have several branch locations in New Richmond and Shell Lake and Rice Lake, but I teach at the Northwood Technical College in Superior, Wisconsin. I do live in Duluth, so I just drive across the bridge.
And you teach psychology and sociology, correct?
Correct, yeah.
All right. So in other words, this is literally right up your alley. It's partly what you've trained for.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's practical. I make everything practical so that it applies to people's lives and they can relate to it. It's all relatable.
Yeah, it really is. I think that's just excellent about this book. One of the best points about this book is that, yeah, it's a nice, each one is a nice short essay that you can see yourself being the protagonist in.
Yeah. There's different forms of psychology. There's theoretical psychology, philosophical. This book is not theoretical. This book is what's called applied psychology. So it makes it applicable to people's lives.
Yeah, very clear, concise suggestions and methods of moving forward so that, yeah, you can actually take that action that folks should be taking, even if it's just the internal action of adjusting how you think about something or rethinking that past experience so that you can maybe lay it to rest a little better.
Right. And I do want to mention that the reason it has that beautiful night blue cover is because so many of the times that I would go into the woods, it would be at night in the moonlight. And so I requested from Llewellyn, please make the book cover a dark night blue, because that reflects what happened, why I even wrote the book, my experience. It's a true reflection of what you're going to find in that book, particularly when I talk about the moonlight.
And it absolutely reminds me of listening to people who are steeped in culture that asks them to observe nature to find guidance, whether that's, and I'll be honest, generally speaking, we are talking about First Nation peoples who have specialized in things like alternative medicine and things like their culture's herbal medicine applications. It's part of the training. How do you define what a rabbit herb is? Well, go watch a rabbit. Watch what it eats, watch how it behaves. That diet is for that type of personality. And it's an interesting set of theories that they have worked on for thousands and thousands of years, but it's based on that same simple process at its heart of the process you've been through for this book, which is being out of doors and seeing the world around you.
Yeah.
And I think it can start there so simply. You can really connect, I think, to nature, to the moon, to Grandmother Moon, to the sun, and really glean a lot of wisdom in ways that I think is really surprising. Whether that's, I had a student at one point who fell upon the childhood rhymes for using black birds, any blackbird, frankly, because most folks can't tell the difference between, say, a raven and a crow, which is fine, to help them predict what might be happening. And they started to notice that when they hit a certain point in the year, that they never saw pairs of birds, ever. And this is not good in that little childhood rhyme. That's horrible. That's awful. And then some of us pointed out that, well, they've found their partners for the season. And one of them is sitting on eggs. So maybe not at this time of year. Maybe observe what's going on in nature and adjust the assumptions you're making going forward, because you'll learn more by having that mind ability, just the openness to seeing what's going on around you.
Yep. Being observant. I write about observations in the book with the owl, and I say the owl is the watcher, and the owl observes and sees what's going on. And that is something that I had to really implement into my life, to be more observant, to be the watcher, because all too often for me, I tend to talk, and the owl may occasionally hoot, but most of the time the owl is silent and just observes, and I need to emulate that.
And as you point out in your own writing, listening as well, right?
Yeah.
So just that being open to new information coming in, which I absolutely adore about this book. So folks, I'm going to say this is the book to buy. Put this on your wish list, especially if you're getting ready to go hiking, if you're getting ready to just interact with nature more. Here in Minnesota, it's cold in the winter. So we like to do this in the spring and the summer and the fall. So this is the season for this little guy. I have a few books left over from Paganacon. So we will have this book for quite a while. So come on in. We'll have a few copies. And I order every week from this publisher, from Llewellyn, because they are fabulous and wonderful. And we love them here. Hi, Marcus. So we'll have it in hand. If we don't have it in hand, we'll have one next week, I promise.
And please remember that all of the proceeds of my royalties are going to feed hungry students. I'm donating 100% of my royalties.
And you can't think if you're hungry. So let's help these students get those degrees, get out there, get productive in society. It's going to give us all a better life, which I appreciate so much. And if you're feeling like, why should I help those people? I'm going to remind you that if Social Security survives till your retirement, they'll be paying your Social Security to you. That's how Social Security works. So you want these guys smart, capable, degreed, competitive in the workplace. You just do. Let's give them that helping hand. Thank you again for that donation. That is fantastic. And all of you are helping him with that donation every time you buy the book. So come grab it. I think it's a great spring or summer read, personally. So when you get a chance, stop by and we'll have it for you. In the meantime, thank you all so much for being your amazing magical selves. All of us here at Megas Books love that about you. And of course, we appreciate the little magical things you can do here in social media land for us. I know you know what they are. In the meantime, have a wonderful week, everyone, and blessed be.
Thank you.